Hi everyone, this is Christy. Welcome to the channel. Thank you to the new subscribers, and thank you and welcome back to the returning viewers and subscribers. I appreciate all of you guys, and keep the questions coming. And so I have not posted in about a month, and that is because for about the last month I have been making face masks. It started out with me making them to donate to essential workers, and it has ballooned into a side business. Excuse me. So, as you can tell by the title, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to take regular cardstock or scrapbooking paper, which is the same weight as cardstock, and turn it into business cards. So we have that, and you have your information. And I stamp them because I'm a kid at heart, so I stamp them with little smiley sunshine or handmade with love. That's what I like to put, so that's what I do. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. So when I package my masks and send them off, I put them in an individual bag, and I put a card inside, and it has just some basic information about the mask and my contact and payment information. So I had to come up with something on the fly, and I did not want to pay for someone to make business cards for me. And it also helps for if you have shows or orders going out, you've changed your information, you've added a website, you've changed your Instagram, whatever. That way you don't have to keep making these costly changes, ordering new sets of cards. So all you're going to do is take some cardstock that has a very either light color or white on one side, which scrapbooking paper mostly is, or something that is readable once you print. So you pick out what pattern you want on the back, it doesn't matter. And for this tutorial today, I chose this paper here. There you go. So what we're going to do, I have a paper cutter. And so if you're using a paper cutter, all you're going to do is put your paper in. This is a 12 by 12 square, and you need an 8.5 by 11 rectangle. So what you're going to do is line your paper up one side, line it up with the 11-inch mark, and then you would just cut that inch off. Then you would rotate your paper 90 degrees in your paper cutter, line it up with the 8.5-inch mark, and then you would cut that excess 3.5 inches off of your paper. That would give you an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock weight paper that can fit into your printer now. But what if you don't have a paper cutter? No worries. Don't go online and order a $20 or $30 or $40 paper cutter. It is quite unnecessary for this task. So you don't have a paper cutter, just get a regular sheet of paper, and you're just going to line it up with the corners of your cardstock paper. And I hope you guys can see that. I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame. I can't see the screen from here. So we're going to line it up, and the easiest way to keep it in place, just get some paper clips or something like that. And I had 4, but 1 has gone missing, so we're going to use 3. And we're just going to clip our regular paper onto the cardstock or scrapbooking paper. And then you're just going to cut away. But because you're cutting on the outside edge of this, you're going to end up with a slightly bigger sheet of paper. So once you remove this, you'll have to trim it down just a bit so it'll fit into your printer. Because the first one I did not fit very well. I had to trim just a hair off, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch or something, but you know, no need for a ruler. Just trim a little excess off once you get this cut. So we're going to cut that out, and you can hold on to that. I usually use these scraps, cut that off, but I usually use these scraps for handwritten notes inside my orders, so I can usually get about 2 out of here. Cut that in half, and then you can just fold it booklet style, and then just write a thank you note or something nice for your customer. So don't throw your paper scraps away. Alright, so now we've cut it out, we can remove the paper clips from our template, which was the regular sheet of paper. And it is just a touch too wide. So then you just come along. This one has polka dots, so it's kind of easy to follow along with, but just do your best to stay straight. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is going to be part of your margins that you're going to cut off anyway once you've printed them. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to fit into your printer. Alright, and we'll cut that one off. And I know this is kind of labor intensive. This is not a sustainable practice if you have lots of orders or a big business. But at this particular time, I have way more time than I have money. So it makes more sense for me to do it myself. Alright, I'm going to pop this in the printer. Oh, and just so you know that I am doing and not fooling you guys, I'm going to make some marks. I don't know if you can see that. Picked the wrong color, it blends in too well. Let's get a darker color. So I'm just going to mark a big, that thing, and we're going to put it in the printer and we're going to print it out. Well, it's not printing. There we are. Alright, so while we're waiting on that to print, sorry about the absence, we're going to discuss other paper options. So like I said, you can use your everyday run-of-the-mill scrapbooking paper. You can use cardstock if you happen to have that. And this particular scrapbooking paper is actually a craft back, which works just as fine. And this paper is the same thickness roughly as printer paper, so there's nothing special that I have to do. I just run it through, when I send it to print, I run it through as label paper so that the fuser will get hot enough to print and the toner won't smudge. But again, if you have an inkjet printer and it's thick enough to run cardstock, it's thick enough to run scrapbooking paper. And I'm waiting on it to print, but it didn't print. Why it didn't print? Because it's waiting on me to answer something. There it goes. So again, for the last almost month, I have been making face masks, and it has turned into a side business enough to help pay bills because I have not worked in about a month. I left my job because my job is an essential job, but I am high risk, so I came home. All right. And fresh off the printer, there, that's the same page that we had and we marked up. And then when we turn it over, then your information is there. And so this is when I take my stamp and I stamp each one. And then you just go through and you cut the margins off. So if you have a paper cutter, the top margin and bottom margins are both 1/2 inch and the side margins are 3/4 inch. If you do not have a paper cutter, just kind of gauge where the center of the paper is. You'll need about 4 1/4 inches from the edge to make it to the center of the page, and then just cut straight down, and then you can cut the cards out individually. Again, this is not a sustainable thing if you have a high volume of orders, but if you are really small and you wanted to have a way to have some really cool cards, I like it because you have a lot of variety. You know, you have all kinds of different options for the back of your card and it looks super cool, but you're not spending all this extra money for premium paper. So hopefully that was able to help someone. And if you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later.